What is up, everybody? It's Joe from JLW Games coming at you with another cool video. Today we're going to be talking more Planet Coaster 2 and what I think will be the most realistic features and things we will see in the game. And maybe even discuss slightly of when I think it will release at this point in time. So for those thinking that this game's not happening, I still think it's going to happen. I think it was delayed, after 2020. We all know what happened there. And I think it's still going to be coming out. And there's two dates that kind of really make the most sense, and that is going to either be around November 2023 or November of 2024. I think it's going to be one of the 2 years. If it doesn't happen next year, I still am holding out hope for 2024. If it doesn't happen by 2024, that's when I think we can actually start hitting the panic button. But we still have a long time till then, and I think it's still going to be happening at this point. I'm still holding out hope that will be 2023, but it could be 2024 as well. But it sounds like a lot of rumors have been saying 2023, and of course there's been a lot of rumors of 2024 as well. So getting into the video here, I want to just discuss of what I think realistically we could see in Planet Coaster 2, what I think will be changed, what I think will not be changed, and maybe some possible DLC. So this is just my realistic thoughts. Of course, we have all our big dreams of what we want the perfect theme park simulation game to be, but however, it's not going to be the most realistic of what Frontier would actually put in the game, and so that's what I'm kind of wanting to talk about here today. So the first thing that I think will for sure be in the game is going to be weather. This is in Planet Zoo, so there's no reason for it to be not to be in Planet Coaster 2, as it's already been done in Planet Zoo, and I think it's definitely going to be coming its way into Planet Coaster 2 like no problem. The only one I could see maybe not get in there is maybe snow. I could see obviously rain, lightning, and thunder, but they could potentially leave snow out. I don't think they will, but there is a potential, and I think they'll obviously have the game better optimized as well. But I think weather is going to be a for sure thing going into this game. Because again, we can kind of look into Planet Zoo to see, kind of getting us an idea of what could potentially be in Planet Coaster 2. Now going to the next one is staff pads. I think this will also be in Planet Coaster 2, something that they added into Planet Zoo, and I think it will also make its way easily into Planet Coaster 2 as well. Another thing is a franchise mode, where you can kind of like in Planet Zoo, you can kind of make a chain of parks. I think we could definitely see this in Planet Coaster 2 as well, and kind of implement this where you can like do a franchise, kind of like a career franchise mode, where you kind of just add your own chain of parks in different locations. I could see us Planet Coaster 2 actually implement locations in the world of where our parks are, kind of like in Planet Zoo, where it has a vicinity of like what country that it's in and stuff like that. I think that could be a thing in Planet Coaster 2 as well that they could implement. And I think everything, of course, will, again, just be better optimized, kind of like Planet Zoo is. And I think we're going to get slightly better graphics and everything, just kind of like how Planet Zoo went from Planet Coaster to Planet Zoo as well. You're going to see me making a lot of comparisons there. Now, one thing I think is not going to be changed mainly in Planet Coaster 2 is going to be the pathing system. I know a lot of people want the pathing system to be improved. However, I don't think Planet Coaster 2 will have any changes in the path. Now, I think the pathing system itself in theory, is actually just fine the way it is. The only time I feel like the pathing is awful is when it interacts with terrain. That's the only time I have a pain, so hopefully Frontier will potentially make changes in that to where there's not a whole lot of collision issues when it comes to terrain and pathing. And hopefully maybe they can just have an option where you can disable path collisions as well, and you can basically put your path wherever you want. But I could see why they have collisions on that, because it could potentially kind of break the game when it comes to guests walking on the path, so I can kind of see maybe why that wouldn't be changed. But I don't think they're going to make any changes with the pathing system. Could we get some different textures? Maybe. That one's just kind of like we could. I think we'll get some new path textures for Planet Coaster 2. Give it a kind of a fresh, new look. It will have some similar paths from Planet Coaster 1, but I think it'll have some new textures kind of going into the second game. As for a lot of people have been requesting maybe we can port our parks over from Planet Coaster 1 to Planet Coaster 2. I don't think that's going to be a thing in Planet Coaster 2. I really don't think, realistically speaking, that's not going to make it into the game either. So I would absolutely love it, and I'm always going to say there's a possibility, but I don't think it's going to happen. However, one thing I think is going to happen, innovative-wise, will be, well, not really innovative because other games have done it, is multiplayer. I do think this will make its way into the game, as it's a very highly requested feature to be in Planet Coaster, especially if you're doing a collab with someone. It can be really cool where you can just share a park file with each other, and you can actually be in the park at the same time, building at the same time. I think this is something they can implement, and it'll be very, very great for Planet Coaster 2, and I think it's definitely going to make its way into the game. If it doesn't, I'd be kind of disappointed. I could see it not being in there, but I am pretty positive that this is something that they could implement into the game, and I think they will, and it has a high chance compared to other things. But now going into some of the rides and coasters and everything, I think we will basically get most of the rides from Planet Coaster 1 ported into Planet Coaster 2 with some slight differences and updates. So I think we're going to get the same coaster types and the same flat rides, maybe even some of them removed that are kind of unnecessary. I think they're going to remove a lot of the themed stuff and give us more generic rides and coasters. So for instance, if you look at like a few of the flat rides that have theming already attached to them, I think they're going to remove those. And same with like the coasters, where they're going to remove some of the theming and make it more generic. Say like the RMC train, the Malice Unchained, has a lot of like that theming to it. I think we're going to get more of a generic RMC type train, and I could see them just kind of updating and make some minor changes to some of the stuff we already have, and just maybe do some minor visual updates and everything like that when it comes to some of these rides. But I think for the most part, we're going to have basically all the rides we had before, maybe a few deleted ones that might not have been the best, and may not be like very much used all that much. I always want more and more flat rides, and I think we will get more flat rides and coasters as well, which gives me into my next point. I think we'll get more flat rides that we haven't seen in the first game going into the second game, and I think it will just be some of the ones that we've been requesting, basically. I'm not going to go into specifics of which one, basically, but I think we're gonna get like maybe 5 to 10 more flat rides than we did maybe in the base game, and then of course DLC rolls out, we could be getting even more. As for the coasters, I think we're going to get most of the same ones that in Planet Coaster 1 will come over to Planet Coaster 2, again with more generic theming, but I think some of the extra ones that we'll get is going to be obviously the RMC Raptor single rail. I think is definitely going to be in there. It's one of the most highly requested ones in there. I think we'll also see a 4D free spin, as I feel like that one's just got to make it in as well. And then, of course, I think we're going to see a Mach Extreme spinning coaster. Now, some of these we could see in DLC, but I do think they're going to make it to the game if they want to profit off of some of these ones that they already have. You know, a lot of people have been requesting. I could see them wanting to profit off of that in DLC, and I know a lot of people don't care for there being DLC, but guys, there's going to be DLC. We already know that, and I am totally, like, in my total opinion, I'm okay with paying for DLC if it means to get the game exactly where I want it. I'm okay with supporting the developers in order to get more and more stuff into the game. So for me, I'm fine with more DLC for a game like this. You know, it's not like, it's not exactly the same as microtransactions, so as long as there's no microtransactions, but yeah, I'm totally okay with that. I can understand why people can be upset and wish that everything was just free after buying the base game, and you know, that opinion is completely valid. So, but in my opinion, I absolutely think it's just fine as long as it's making the game better and adding more content to the game. That gets me to the next point, and that's going to be going into DLC and slash expansion packs, and that's going to be, will we get water parks in Planet Coaster 2? I firmly believe we will get it. Not in the base game, but through a DLC of some sorts or some sort of expansion pack, you know, like RCT3 Soaked. You know they're going to be making that some sort of expansion pack slash DLC in the future that you're going to have to pay for. That's for sure. That's definitely not going to be in the base game. There's no way Frontier would, something that's so requested, would put this in the base game for free. It's going to be part of a DLC or some sort of expansion later on down the line, but I do think it is a very strong possibility that we will see this going into the game. I think the scenario editor is going to return. Sandbox obviously will return. Now, will we see something like challenge mode or career mode? I think there will be a career mode. I think the career mode is going to be more of the morphed into the franchise mode, or maybe it's kind of inside the same thing, if that kind of makes sense. I think it's going to be similar to how Planet Zoo's kind of set up, and maybe just kind of expanded upon that. So I think we're going to get sandbox, scenario, and maybe some sort of career slash franchise mode, which will be similar to like Planet Zoo's franchise mode as well. So I think we're going to get those are kind of going to be the modes that we're going to see. I don't think we're going to get any sort of like multiplayer or live parks. I don't think anything like that will happen. I think it's a great idea, and I really am hoping and pushing and thinking for that, but realistically speaking, I could see them not doing anything with that, kind of like, you know, because Planet Zoo didn't really do anything with that. But I think the most that they would do with multiplayer is basically just add multiplayer to like parks and stuff where you can play multiplayer with your friends, or if you guys want to play a park together. Again, that's the closest I think we're going to get for now. I think the Theme Maker's Toolkit's going to make its way over into the game as well. Now, a good question is, will Planet Coaster 1 Theme Maker's Toolkit be blended together with Planet Coaster 2? That one's kind of a tough one, and I'm not entirely sure, but I definitely think it will be in the game as well. And I think we're going to see blueprints also be expanded as well, where we can upload larger stuff together when it comes to blueprints, and maybe not completely unlimited, but maybe like 10,000 pieces or something like that, because I think the limit is around 6,000 or something like that, somewhere around there. I also don't think the game is going to launch on console right away either. Kind of like Planet Zoo still isn't on console, which is kind of surprising. I'm surprised Planet Zoo hasn't made its way to console. Maybe it's on its way soon, but I'm still surprised that hasn't happened any time either. I mean, it could still happen this year, but I'd imagine they would want to start advertising it pretty soon if that is the case, because they like to release a lot of stuff in November. But again, we're not talking about Planet Zoo, but Planet Coaster 2, I don't think it's going to launch on console. I think it will come to a later date, maybe a year or two down the line. So sorry, console players. I think it's going to be kind of the same story that we had in Planet Coaster 1 when it comes to console. And I was surprised that it even came to console, period, the first game anyways. So, but anyways, I think Theme Maker's Toolkit's going to make its way back, no problem. And, you know, just overall, I don't think there's going to be as much as a lot of people are expecting. I think it's going to be solid, and it's going to be a huge improvement over the last game when it comes to optimization, visuals, weather, all that fun stuff is going to be really nice to have, and it's going to be really cool. And I think we're going to see a lot of new scenery pieces. Will we see the exact same stuff come into the game? I don't think it's all going to be exactly the same stuff. Again, I think it's going to be kind of like they'll put some of the same rides as the last game in, but they're also going to update it where, you know, maybe some new textures and stuff, and maybe some like higher resolution textures and just some better textures overall will make it into the game. But overall, I think it is going to be the most part the same, but I think they're going to just add maybe some more stuff. And then that gets me into DLC. There obviously is going to be DLC for this game, whether it's going to be ride packs, more scenery packs, and other stuff. And I think there definitely will be a water park pack as well. I don't think there's no chance for a zoo pack with Planet Zoo being out there. They're going to want you to buy Planet Zoo, so there's not going to be any chance, I think, of a zoo expansion coming in. But I do think water parks are definitely one of the most possible things because of how highly requested it is. Now, another thing real quick as I thought about it is something with flat rides. Tower flat rides, I think we're going to be able to adjust all the heights. That's why I think some of the flat rides will be kind of changed a little bit. So if we have like the drop towers or the launch towers, I think we will be able to adjust the heights on those now going into the second game as well. So yeah, I think that is about it. When it comes to like coasters and stuff, I think again we'll get some new models. Same with flat rides. That's just to be expected, you know, at this point. But that's what I think is the main things that are going to be coming to the second game. Are there any other things that I may have missed that you guys think will for sure be in the second game? And I'm not talking about things you necessarily want, but what do you think is plausible, and what do you think Frontier would most realistically be able to add? I have a lot of thoughts of what I want in the game personally, and there's a lot more than what I just said that I think will realistically be in the game. So, but just you might just want to keep your expectations kind of lower, because I know there's a lot of hope that there's a lot of amazing things that are coming to the game, which there are, but I don't think we're going to get every single thing. We can't obviously get everything that we want in this game, but it does have potential of being one of the best theme park simulation games of all time, and hopefully that will remain that way. But anyways, let me know in the comment section if I missed anything, or anything that you think is for sure going to be in the second game. If you still don't think that this game's going to happen, let me know why as well. I personally think for sure, I still have high confidence this game is still going to be happening. That leaked roadmap is basically the reason why I'm a firm believer that this game's coming, because everything on that roadmap has come true at this point. Now, as for, before I get to the end here, I have one more thing that just kind of popped into my head, and that is licensings. There was early talks that they were going to be licensing with Disney, but I've heard that those have actually fell through, and maybe we could see other licensing, maybe with Cedar Fair. They've worked with Cedar Fair before with Steel Vengeance and Copperhead Strike. Those were really, really cool updates, and I hope to see something like that in the future. So maybe we'll get some cool Cedar Fair stuff, maybe even some like park scenarios with actual recreations of the Cedar Fair parks, or some Cedar Fair parks. And that also gets me into like, with biomes, are we going to be able to have bigger worlds? I think we're going to have to, I think we'll have some slightly bigger worlds, and as for biomes, I think the biomes are going to stay basically the same. I think we might get a few more biomes added, but I don't think we're going to be able to edit like we're hoping the way we want to, like custom biomes where we can change the environment around us and stuff. That's not going to really happen, I don't think. I think we're going to be stuck with what we have. But again, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Are you guys excited for Planet Coaster 2? I know it's still a long way away if it is for sure happening. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe for more amazing content like this. I'm going to catch you guys in the next live stream or video, whichever it may be. Have a great day, cooler tomorrow, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks, and goodbye.